Welcome back to another video. Um, Today's video is going to be a continuation of my Company of Heroes unboxing, but this time instead of unboxing the figures, which we already did in the two previous videos, today I thought I'd rather focus on the physical miniatures. So here what I have laid out several of the miniatures, not only from the Company of Heroes box sets, the ones that are uncolored, but I've also laid out beside them my own personal vehicles from the days when I collected Flames of War. Now, for those who care, I've actually moved on from Flames of War to Bolt Action, and I do Bolt Action in 15mm scale just because I already had the figures and there was no point in spending the money when I had figures available. And in my view, Bolt Action actually works out really well in 15mm scale. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So what I've done is I've taken a collection of miniatures. Now, I don't, for number one, I guess, I don't have every single miniature ever made by Flames of War or the various 15mm manufacturers. And B, I quite honestly couldn't find all of them. I just spent the last hour searching for a Panther. So although I would love to compare the Company of Heroes Panther, which I have in my hand, to the Plastic Soldier Company 15mm Panther that I know I have several sprues of unbuilt ones, but the ones that I have physically painted and assembled, I can't find it. I don't know. Either A, my kitten stole it and is fighting some communist somewhere in the eastern part of my house, or B, my son has played with it and left it somewhere else, like most kids tend to do. They just leave stuff behind them. Anyway, I'm not going to make this a really long video. I just wanted to show people who are interested, and it may not be for everybody, what the miniatures are like scale-wise to current miniatures on the market. Now, I mentioned in the previous videos that the miniatures are actually really nice. Like these plastic miniatures, apart from a couple of bendy barrels, they're really top-notch stuff. Like, I don't know what else I could expect from this type of company making essentially what is a board game. But to me, they're excellent. So let's see, how do they compare to the current miniatures on the market? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off picking random ones, the ones that I'm interested in seeing even for myself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the smallest guy. So I'm going to start off with the smallest Stuart, the Stuart here for the American side. Now, if I can get it in here, focus for me there, thank you. Oh, it doesn't like the figures in the background, but like I said before, this figure, apart from me not knowing what this weird part on the turret is, it sticks out there, this part right here. Apart from me not knowing what that is, this figure is really nice. Now, how does it compare to a metal Battlefront Flames of War figure? Now, scale-wise, if I put them here, scale-wise, you can see it's almost identical. Perhaps it's not near as... Let's see, can I tilt that? It's... To me, and maybe I'm not doing a very good job of being a cameraman here, it's... I think if you had these together, you wouldn't know. Now, my guy here is obviously on a base, and I did that for a reason. I don't like touching the figures when I'm moving them around. I like touching bases, so I like moving the figure like this. I know that might not be for everyone, but I mean, here is the Battlefront figure, and here is the Company of Heroes figure. Now, I would say that maybe it's about 4 or 5% on the small side. Now, which one of these two is true scale? Oh, and I just threw this. Stuart's gone for good now. I just threw him. But they are very durable. He didn't break. Which scale is correct? Is the Battlefront a true 15mm, or is the Company of Heroes one? I don't know. I can't say. It is a little smaller. If we move on to the next one, who should we choose next? We'll choose the Stug. Now, apologies, I don't have I could not find my regular 75mm armed Stug. I could only find my 10.5cm Stug. But, I mean, this one's been worn down a little bit. I mean, if we look side by side, put the plates together as best I can, again, Let's see if I can get that right side by side like that. Again, a little. If you can see down here, it's a little shorter, a tiny bit shorter. But the detail is as good. I mean, what's wrong with the detail there? I mean, even the rivets on the back. Yeah, it's to me, if you put them side by side like that, I can't tell the difference from eye level. So that's excellent. That's a pass, I guess. I'm not really rating them, but hey. Where to go next? Now we'll go with the T34. The T34, again, I don't have a 76 turret for mine. I have the 85 turret. But if we look at the figures together, I mean, we still get a sense of the hull. You can see clearly here that the Company of Heroes one is now a little bigger instead of being a little smaller. So, what is the reason for that? What is the reason for one being bigger and then the other one being smaller? So, for instance, what I'm trying to say is the Stuart and the Stug, the Company of Heroes version was smaller, but on this one, the Company of Heroes version is bigger. Now, it's important to note that this tank here is not a Battlefront tank. This is a plastic PSC figure, so Plastic Soldier Company. So maybe Plastic Soldier Company aren't the same scale exactly to Battlefront. It'd be interesting to have if I could find a Battlefront figure. But I mean, realistically, and I'm sorry for the terrible camera work here, I'm new at this, but it's a problem with having stuff in the background. The scale to me, apart from being a little shorter, or a little longer, I guess, this one here, the height looks okay. I mean, damn close. Put that one there. Now, what's next? We'll do one that kind of glares out at me here. We'll do the ISU 152. Now, the Battlefront, the old metal Battlefront, not the new plastics. Although I do love the new plastic stuff that Flames of War is bringing out, or Battlefront is bringing out, I don't see the reason why I would want to repurchase everything again and have to repaint everything again. Although I am very tempted. But now you can see here, there's quite a difference there in the height of the track. Which one's correct? No idea. To me, this one here looks correct. This one looks a little thin, and the spokes are a little different. The gun barrels, I mean, you'll obviously pause if you want to see the length is almost identical. The box looks a little bit smaller, but very close. The detail on the Battlefront, I think, is a little crisper, but that also might be the paint job. Not that it's great, but that it might show the details a little better than the wine-looking plastic here. I mean, the gun looks like the same thickness, so that looks okay. Maybe a little thicker on the Company Heroes one. It's the height difference, though. The height difference is really like... Oh, I almost lost another one. Sorry for the camera shake there. This is amateur hour here. And I don't know how to edit, so I can't edit that out. But if we look at the height difference, now they're both flat. Come on, focus in here. There's a good... It's a good... the Battlefront one is a lot taller. Which one's the correct scale? Is this one the correct scale, or is this one? This one looks right to me. I don't know why. And this one looks a little like squished bread. Let's see. Can I top my ineptitude there? I'll take him out of the way so I can count what I've done. We'll do the same with the IS-2. The IS-2 from afar, I mean, looks fine to me. Oh, a turret. I lost a turret. And it's even magnetized. And it fell off anyway. It's if I put them together, the Company Heroes one's a little shorter, but the detail is maybe as good. Now this one here also suffers from the same thing, as that it's a lot. The tracks on the Battlefront one. How can I get this to look? If I turn their turrets, excuse me. I'll turn their turrets and I'll try and put them like that. Now you can see maybe right there. the tracks are a lot more compressed on the Company of Heroes one. This one looks more natural to me, the Battlefront one. And this is the Battlefront Metal one. So it's really just the tracks on the Russian vehicles that look off to me. Now again, I'm not saying that the Company of Heroes one isn't the correct looking. I just think it loses some height, which means it looks smaller. But if the tracks on this one were a little wider or a little taller, or this one was a little shorter, they look identical. Again, maybe a 5% difference in size. The Company of Heroes one's about 5% smaller. Camera shake again. Sorry, my cat keeps walking past my legs and knocking the camera. Let's see. Let's do the Panzer IV. Now, it's a little different to do the Panzer IV because I have all this like added detail to my figure. But if we just look closely, they look identical to me. They look perfect. Now, the barrel on this one here is really thin, and that's a PSC plastic tank. I always thought this was a little thin, but so it's hard to judge. And I don't have a Battlefront one or a Flames of War one to show you. But apart from the road wheels being a little bigger on the Company of Heroes one, these tanks are almost mirror images of each other. And right next to, if this one was painted or this one was gray plastic, you'd be hard pressed, apart from the barrel, mind you, to find the difference between the two. There we go. There's the Panzer IV. We'll do the Sherman. We'll do the Firefly version. We did you. Sorry, Stuart, out of the way. And the Firefly, for the Company Heroes one, it has this weird rocket launching rack. I don't know what it is really. It looks like a missile, like you'd find underneath a fighter jet. But I'm going to compare it next to a Plastic Soldier Company. And to be honest, the Company Hero one looks a little bigger, looks a little chunkier. Just a little bit more well fed. The detail on the PSC one is really nice. Like, these are really nice tanks. I love the look of them. You know, from the side, if we put them together, a little bigger. But overall, I mean, virtually the same size. I mean, just a little bigger, 5% bigger. Let's see. I don't really see a difference, to be honest. I see a difference. Sorry, I shouldn't say I don't. I see a difference, but it's subjective. It's on the tabletop. If this tank was over there and this one was over here, and you were playing a game, apart from the very noticeable rocket launcher rack, whatever that thing is, I wouldn't really be able to tell, or I wouldn't notice the scale difference, and it wouldn't bother me. So I think that scales out pretty well. We'll do the Sherman next. Now again, this is a Plastic Soldier Company Sherman. I just happen to like their Shermans better than the Battlefront metal ones. I don't know, the metal ones look a little off. This one always looks like a Sherman to me. The Battlefront one, although it has the shape of a Sherman, I don't know what the difference. You know what? I'm just going to stop talking about that. I just don't like them. But here we go. Again, wow, that's noticeably smaller. Why is the Firefly? Firefly wasn't near that noticeable. The PSC one is way smaller. You could almost fit kind of like inside this one. It'd be tight, but trying to get them lined up so they're. Well, there you go. I mean, it's not that bad. You know, it doesn't look that bad. Detail on the PSC one is really nice. Might be the paint, though. Tracks are a little thinner on this one. I don't know what to say about that. I'm being kind of quiet. I would say that it's, again, like on the table, you can kind of tell this is smaller on the table, but it's not a huge difference. And again, it's hard to do a scale video when I'm not exactly sure which one is the true scale, like which one is true 15 millimeter. I mean, move on to the Cromwell. My Cromwell here it's a metal one from Battlefront, is on a physical base, so I have to be very tricky here. But if we look at it head on, let's turn the turret here so it's facing the camera a little bit. If we look at it head on, apart from the extra detail here on the Battlefront one on the front of it, and the turret on this one being exceptionally huge, the hull looks fine. The length is, let's see, let's make sure I have this right. The length is basically the same. The Battlefront one has nice detail though, really nice detail. But I mean, this, you can't fault Company Heroes for the detail. The barrel is the only thing that really sticks out to me there. I don't know about you guys. The road wheels on the Battlefront one are a little tiny bit slimmer by the looks of it. But to me, this one here works out really well. It scales up really well to the Battlefront one. I'm really happy with that. But I mean, I don't really care in a way, because I'm going to be using this tank as my actual game piece, not this one. And that's the whole purpose of this video, is to see, can you use your current collection in place of these? And the answer is a resounding yes, of course. And I think everyone knew that actually before they probably clicked on this video. But it's nice to see them up close. Now, why did I leave all the German? Why is there only Germans left? That's weird. Let's do the Jagdpanther first. Again, sorry, I have vegetation on my metal Battlefront one. Put them side by side. Now, this one here does not have side skirts, but I mean, that shouldn't be a big deal. You can see it's really hard to tell because of the, but you can see it's marginally smaller. Marginally smaller. I also have to bend that barrel a bit. Now, maybe I should do it this way here, and you can get a better sense. Yeah, it's about 5% smaller. Barrels are way thicker. The detail on the Battlefront one is way nicer, though. But the engine block is pretty good. Detail on the top here of the armored casemate is also really good. Now, it's hard to see there. This one has almost 4 exhausts, and this one has 2. I don't know what the difference is there. No difference, really. But again, the scale is right in line. Side by side. Almost impossible to tell, except for maybe the barrel thickness. That's a pass. That's good. We'll do the Tiger, Panzer VI. We'll do him next. And here you can see definitely smaller. The tracks look okay, but this tank looks like it could fit tightly inside this tank, just like the Sherman. Road wheels on the Battlefront metal one here are actually a lot nicer. Look a lot more authentic. But really, apart from it being marginally smaller, you can see there's a bit of a chunky difference there in the length of the vehicle too. But the turret and the barrel looks almost spot on. You know, it's a nice model. It's definitely nicer. Now, I've played many games, board games on World War II. I've played the Axis and Allies game, which you can barely call that a World War II game, apart from having a skin on it. But there's been other games now. What games do I have behind me here? We don't shake the camera. I have the Tide of Iron games and the Richard Berg games. Which one was that? The one. Anyway, let's talk about Tide of Iron. Like the Tide of Iron games, their tanks look just ridiculous. So compared to Tide of Iron, these are amazing. And then lastly, we have the King Tiger. Again, more vegetation on him. Let's see if I can do this properly. Oh, wow, that's really close. That's really close. Nice clean model, this one here. Really close. Let's see if can I get them together. Let's see. Maybe I'll just turn the turret on that one. Same height almost. What about the length? Same length, almost identical length. Apart from the barrel on this one being a little wonky. This is a metal Battlefront one, by the way. The engine block. More detail here, but I mean, that's not no big deal. Looks good. Looks really good. Now, I'm just going to end the video here. Hopefully you found this useful, even in the smallest way. I really appreciate you tuning in, if you did tune in, and checking out these figures. I mean, I'm really impressed with this game. This game is really impressive. What else can you say? Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again in another video. Bye for now.